It's Thursday in South Carolina. Welcome to the Touchdowns podcast presented by Harrison Williamson, Cross Country Mortgage. Please like and subscribe out there. We appreciate everyone who listens to us each and every week, each and every episode. Go follow us on our socials on Instagram and Twitter, as well as TikTok. All of our links can be found in the show notes. Please, again, go like and subscribe. We appreciate everyone who listens and supports. Even got some text as the Spotify Wrapped came out. Got some text from some people that have been listening to the show. So really appreciate everyone's support. Go like and subscribe on whatever platform you prefer to watch or listen. We got a big packed show tonight. We're talking National Signing Day as it relates to the Gamecocks. We are talking about some college football playoff rankings, as well as the coaching carousel that's continually evolving in college football. And as always, even we're going to be giving our DB Blitz out for championship week and finishing up with Court Cox chatter. Want to quickly, our friends over at Hughley Insurance, we're doing our first giveaway. We have 4 tickets to the Vanderbilt men's basketball game. It is the SEC opener in January. Our friends at Hughley Insurance have hooked that up. So we want to do a giveaway for our listeners and subscribers. So I will be dropping a code word later in the episode. So to enter the contest, you simply need to DM us that code word on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. And then also just give us proof that you're a subscriber on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify to be entered into this ticket giveaway. So again, that's 4 tickets for the SEC men's opener against Vanderbilt, first week of January. So we'll be dropping this code word in the next 4 episodes. So if you miss tonight's episode, we'll be running this for the next 4 and then announce a winner on the 17th of December. So there's plenty of time to get the tickets, and so folks can make their plans to get to the SEC men's opener for against Vanderbilt for basketball. So appreciate the guys over at Hughley Insurance doing this, and hopefully plenty more of this to come throughout the basketball season. So let's dive into National Signing Day, TD, and it's actually a beacon of light, honestly, from what things were looking like following the Clemson game, and we have, obviously no more football to play, and so you have to turn your attention to next year, and National Signing Day is the first step towards building into 2026. I said it on the last episode. I said, Beamer, shut your mouth and go flip Julian Walker. And that's exactly what he did. So that was a big win for us to get Julian Walker. He's a edge player. I saw a few different. It depends on the recruiting site. Some have him as the 3rd best player in the state. Some have him as the best player in the state. I had mentioned he was the best player in the state, but regardless of where you look, we landed 4 out of the top 5 players in the state. With his commit, adding to the other 3 with the Julian Walker flip. So that was big. That was something that I wanted to see. It just shows that there's still belief in what Beamer is doing. I would have hated to see a kid that is at Dutch Fork, 30 minutes up the road from campus, going all the way to Michigan. It's great that we kept him home. So really positive news when it comes to that. Landon Duckworth officially signed today. He didn't sign yesterday after a late push from LSU with Lane Kiffin. I thought that was huge to hold off Lane, who's the quote-unquote quarterback guru in college football, and with all the resources and hype that now he has at LSU. That was getting a little dicey, and for us to be able to still win that battle and hold him off, I thought that was huge. This is all great positive news from my vantage point on signing day, and a good start to hopefully a very well done off season, because we need it, because we're going to have things clicking going into 26. What are your give me some of your thoughts, Thomas, on the class and the happenings of signing day yesterday and today?
Yeah, so small class, Julian Walker makes 15 total commits. And on 247, we're right on the fringe of, 18, 19, 20. But if you look at average, we have a top 10 class by average, star rating. So, Beamer kind of touched on that in his signing day press conference, that we went quality over quantity. And I think that's something that you're going to continue to see happen. Like, the high school classes are going to get smaller and smaller because, with the portal available now, you do still want to get the best available kids you can at the high school level. And 9 times out of 10, the core of your team is going to be built through high school kids that you bring in and develop. But then instead of taking, a developmental 3-star out of high school, I think most teams and programs will choose to use that spot on a portal guy that is a little bit older, already a little bit more developed, and is kind of ready to contribute right away. I saw someone kind of poking fun at Southern Cal, who has the number 1 class on 247, but they signed like 35 or 36 kids, and the post was essentially saying, what are they going to do with 36 freshmen? And I think they signed like 6 receivers in one class. Like, there's a lot of different, I guess, beliefs in how to manage your roster, but you do kind of want to keep a certain amount of players per position. I think that Beamer kind of referenced that we want to get back to 4 or 5 scholarship running backs before spring football, because it's not realistic to go into a season with less than that. And there's kind of a number that most schools want to stay at for each position. But yeah, I mean, I also saw that with this class, we had 4 players in the top 80 on Rivals, and that is the first time that we have ever done that in school history. So in a lot of ways, this is one of the, better, if not best, high school classes we've signed. So for all the negativity that we've kind of gone through in the past month, and especially in the past 2 weeks, something that Beamer is selling to these kids is connecting. We only had 1 high school player decommit in this class, despite the 4-8 season. So, the kids are still bought in, and if we get some of our key players to come back and not enter the portal or go pro, then you will have to kind of give some credit to the culture. But I do want to say he needs to chill with and when I say he, I mean Beamer, with we're going to be watching our playoff ranking next year. I'm upset that we're not in the SEC championship game this week. Well, yeah, I'm upset we're not in the SEC championship too, but we're 1-7 in conference. So you kind of don't really get to say that. I get what he's trying to do, and I like that he has expectation for the program, because a lot of people still just don't believe that is possible at South Carolina. So I do like that he sees us as a program that should be in that picture. But when we're 4-8 and we're 1-7, you need to shut the fuck up and fix things, which flipping Julian Walker is that. Fighting Lane Kiffin and LSU off of flipping Duck is that. Getting LaNorris to come back, getting Dylan to come back, getting Nick to come back. Those would be the things that he needs to do, and he just needs to do them though. Like I don't want to hear him say shit until we start winning games again. But yeah, I think all things considered, pretty solid early signing day. And I'm very excited to see where things go with the offensive coordinator search. I'm very happy to hear that Clayton is going to come back. Whatever was going on between him and Coastal seems to have fizzled. So I think that's huge, just in retaining Dylan and just the defense moving forward. Carson Baker, he decommitted from Florida, I think, and then he committed to Texas A&M, which reminds me that we have let Blackwell go at running backs coach. He's kind of like, you never really heard very much about him, but it seems like he kind of skipped out on a lot more criticism. Like I feel like the fact that we haven't signed a high school running back in the past 2 cycles is something that people would typically be losing their mind about. But maybe just the fact that, Rocket was such a success for us, coming through the portal, that he kind of was shielded from some of that. But I don't think that we're going to miss him very much. And that probably just makes it easier for looking for an offensive coordinator, that there's more positions open for them to bring their own people in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to comment on. That was maybe one of the more, I guess, negative narratives out there from yesterday's signing day, was that we didn't sign a running back, and we haven't signed a running back in the last couple classes. And this Baker kid was maybe a name trending for us when he decommitted from Florida, ends up going to A&M. But yeah, I think we obviously let Blackwell go today, and to your point, it's probably a position where the next OC is going to want to put a guy in place. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Sean and Mike Fury at wide receivers coach and O-line coach. I don't really have a strong conviction either way. I think if this new offensive coordinator wants to keep them on staff, I'll trust the new offensive coordinator. If he wants to bring in all fresh new offensive staff, I'll be happy as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I thought going back to the Duckworth thing, just to fight off Lane Kiffin, but I mean, to fight off Lane Kiffin without an offensive coordinator, that was huge. I think, like you said, clearly Beamer is selling something that these kids are buying, and that's a great thing, because obviously we didn't have the results on the field to really back up anything. So to land a class like this in a tumultuous year, it speaks volumes. And again, the culture is going to be tested, because we just went 4-8. The fans are pissed. Like, it's going to be this is going to have to be Beamer's coup de grace of an off season to be able to right the ship. So big signing day. In my estimation, we did what we were supposed to do, which is flip Julian Walker, keep Duckworth, sign the remainder of the class. We talked about 2 guys last episode that I mentioned, Zion Giles, and Darius Gray, two guys that could be impact guys immediately on this offensive line. Hopefully they are, or at least hopefully in competition, they bring the best out of the guys that are already on the roster when they see two freshmen coming in that can play, hopefully. And it's either going to be those guys that are getting the snaps, or they're going to be forcing our existing offensive linemen to get better. So all positives, which there hasn't been a lot, but I think it was a very positive signing day, and looking forward to what we do. Probably the next announcements is going to be the offensive coordinator hire. I would think that would be the next domino in the offseason. It's great news that Clayton seems to be staying and locked in. I don't know if they're going to announce any sort of contract amendments for him, but or any of the defensive staff. There's been some rumblings maybe that Torian Gray is trying to get poached. I don't know that there's any merit to those rumblings, but as always, when you have a good unit, and especially in the secondary, I imagine Jalen Kilgore will probably go to, enter into the NFL draft. And I mean, T. Gray's just turned out. He just keeps turning out NFL dudes in our secondary. So I know he would be a hot name to get out there and for another university to poach. But great day on signing day for the Gamecocks, and just the first bit of positive momentum in the offseason. And we'll see what happens with the offensive coordinator. We'll see what happens with retaining our key players, and then get in and go start getting our own guys, getting transfer guys to come in and fill out this roster. So great day for Gamecock Nation yesterday and today with the news of signing day. We broached let's talk about the coaching carousel, Thomas. We broached it a little bit, just bringing up some of the happenings with South Carolina's staff. Looking at a more national level, we haven't given our thoughts on the whole Lane Kiffin to LSU. Last episode, we were pretty focused on the Clemson result and wrapping up the South Carolina season, so didn't get into the Lane drama and the ripple effect that's going to have, and how a lot of these programs now are getting their coaches, except for Penn State. But we'll talk about Penn State too. But what were your thoughts on how Lane handled it? I know when we talked to Bunky had me convinced at least, that no way Lane was going to leave, and for it to happen like that, pretty wild. What are your thoughts on Lane, and then any other coaching movement that stood out to you over the last week?
Well, I mean, I think the whole situation highlights one of the biggest problems in college football right now, and we're not the first to touch on this, but it is the calendar. It is completely insane that whether it's a coach or a player who is actively slated to be in this year's playoff, competing for a national championship, should have to choose between doing that and where they're going to coach or play next season. The portal opens January 2nd, but the national championship is January 19th. So from LSU's perspective, they want their coach in place before the portal opens, so they can attack the portal and be prepared for next season. And so they don't really care how that affects Ole Miss. In terms of how Lane handled it, I think it's a little naive for him to think that, they were going to let him coach the playoff and leave. But it really is a terrible situation to be in. I think he should have stayed. I think he will, live to regret this decision. had he stayed, he probably would have retired to a statue of him being built in Oxford and, the field named after him. And who knows if he would have won a national championship there or not, but he would have been their greatest coach of all time, one of, the legends of SEC coaching. And that's not to say that he can't accomplish that at LSU. But, I mean, if I was an LSU fan, I wouldn't feel comfortable about him. I think as soon as Alabama opens up, he might leave LSU and go to Bama. A lot of people were speculating that the reason that he waited to announce his decision was because there was murmurs that if DeBoer lost the Iron Bowl, he was going to leave Bama and go to Penn State.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, how bad has Penn State handled this search? They are 136th out of 136 teams in recruiting. I think they signed 2 people yesterday.
2 commits.
It's just it is unbelievable how wrong this has gone for them. Meanwhile, Franklin has Virginia Tech just about
top 25
at a top 25 class. So yeah, I mean they just can. Penn State continues to strike out, and it, between Penn State and I think that if you polled the Florida fan base on how they feel about the Summerall hire, there'd be plenty of fans that are not happy with it. It just goes to show, I think, that regardless of how you feel about Beamer in terms of if you want him gone this year or at some point in the future, there's no guarantee that it would get better right away. I mean, Penn State has probably set their program back who knows how many years. Like, they still don't have a coach. Whoever the coach is going to be really struggling to field a team as talented as James Franklin has had for the past decade there. So, but they're still in the Big Ten, which is a very competitive conference. So, they have gone from just not being able to beat Ohio State, Michigan to now they're going to be struggling with Purdue. So, to wrap up my thoughts, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised Lane left. I think it's the wrong decision, but college football. That's why this is the greatest sport in the world.
But it's interesting though, Thomas, because I'm curious why Penn State is struggling so hard. I mean, Kentucky fired Stoops, and they hired Will Stein 48 hours later. If it was even 40? Like, OC at Oregon, they've been a playoff team the last couple of years, like much shorter than 48 hours. Yeah, exactly. Like, Kentucky goes and gets Stoops. I mean, they get Stoops out. They go and get Will Stein, a young offensive mind, pretty quickly. And then, like, you look at Hartline, he's going to USF, excuse me.
The only one that kind of confuses me as to how Penn State messed it up is the Hartline one, because that is actually the first, if I'm not mistaken, coordinator that they pursued. And I think the biggest difference between what Penn State has been trying to do and what Kentucky did was Kentucky went and got a coordinator and hired a coordinator to become their head coach. So it is a clear step up in his career. Whereas Penn State, they were targeting head coaches at sitting schools where whether or not you think Penn State is a better program than the program that those coaches were at, it's more of a lateral move than a step up. But I think it just goes to show that, blue bloods don't really run the show in the way that they used to. I think the closest Penn State has gotten to getting a guy they really wanted is the BYU coach. And apparently the way that BYU is able to fend them off is the crumble cookie owner or CEO or someone who's way high up in crumble cookies is a BYU guy or person. So every school has their famous donor. And that has really leveled the playing field. Like the blue bloods can't really just come in and muscle their way around with coaches or players, because every program has somebody, and these smaller programs are utilizing their resources, and BYU was like, we don't want to lose our coach, and so fuck out of here, Penn State. Like we'll give him whatever you're trying to give him to leave to stay. And I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I saw a tweet that said Penn State's coaching search has created $270 million worth of contract extensions and wealth for sitting college coaches, because Penn State will come try and get their coach and they just get a raise and an extension instead, and all together, all these other coaches are sitting pretty.
Yeah, Brent Key got extended at Georgia Tech. I saw, obviously, the BYU coach got extended. Eli Drinkowitz, big game drink. It's very interesting. And maybe Penn State's maybe looking in the mirror like, shit, maybe we are not like Ohio State and Michigan, and we're more like Illinois or, a mid-tier conference or mid-tier in the Big Ten Conference. But I found that it's been very interesting how they've just fallen on their face. They were the first one to fire a coach.
Right.
They've had the longest runway.
Right.
And they've failed to, they were getting trolled. They posted their whole recruiting class, all two of them, and said "we are," and then someone said "to are." Like, just it's been a whirlwind, and I would hate to be a Penn State fan right now. They've really dropped the ball, and again, every situation's different, but we have to look at, when you look at a situation like Penn State, that could have been South Carolina. And I'm not, again, no one's justifying the results on the field, but you ultimately have to sometimes you have to make decisions not strictly based off of the results on the field, but the landscape around you. And again, we'll see what we can do this offseason to turn it around, and we start in the right direction. Let's chat college football playoff rankings. I have some issue with them. I've had some issue with the rankings and the system. And once the season's over and we're into spring, where we're just trying to talk about different things, we'll talk about how we personally would want to fix college football. But I've been on the abolish the college football playoff committee train for a while now, and I'm still on it. Like, tell me how this makes sense. BYU is 11-1, and they're behind Oklahoma, Alabama, and Notre Dame. I would say BYU's resume is also better than A&M's at this point. They are essentially getting pigeonholed into winning the Big 12 or they're out. I disagree with that completely. Then you have the situation of
But
Notre Dame.
Beck, they're 11. Why would they be out if they don't win the Big 12?
Because there's a group of 5 automatic
Oh
qualifiers.
no, a group of 5 schools gonna bump them out. I hate that for them.
But the thing is, the group of 5 is not bumping them out. Who is bumping them out is Notre Dame, Bama, Oklahoma, and A&M. Four teams that don't have better resumes than them, but are ahead of them. So it's not the group of 5.
Okay.
We can take that argument off the table and just argue this without even considering that they still should be in, even with a group of 5 automatic qualifier, and there might be 2, because if Duke wins the ACC, probably North Texas and James Madison are going to get in to the playoff. But the committee also has Notre Dame ranked above Miami, but then Texas ranked above Vanderbilt. How does that make sense? Can we make sense of that? The response to that would probably be, well, Texas beat Vanderbilt. That's why they're ranked ahead of them. Well, then why the hell is Miami not ahead of Notre Dame? Oklahoma's ahead of Bama because Oklahoma beat Bama. Like Ole Miss beat Oklahoma. Like, it's just, there's so much inconsistency with the College Football Playoff Committee. I know you want to get rid of automatic qualifiers. I'm trying to think of a system that is only automatic qualifiers, or finding, if there's not only automatic qualifiers, we need to find a new way to rank these teams, because this is just a joke. I mean, I would hate to be Hunter, how do you pronounce his name? Yurchek? Hunter Yurchek. That's the shittiest job ever, because he just has to go on national TV once a week and look like a dumbass. Like, he can't justify every reason he justifies a ranking, it contradicts another ranking. Like, it's such a mess. It's complete bullshit. I think the entire committee should have to get on national TV and explain themselves why they rank these teams. Or what we need to do is, we don't need to rank the teams until after conference championship weekend. Have the AP poll throughout the season if you must, to hype matchups and all this bullshit. But really, I don't think we should be ranking teams until after the season, especially when it comes to the college football playoff rankings, because teams are getting, like, Bama was held up in the rankings because of wins against Missouri and Tennessee that are now viewed as not as good, but they're still already up there. Like, they were already up there because they were boosted, 3 weeks ago when Tennessee and Missouri were still ranked. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And again, none of South Carolina. So I can look at this through a non-biased lens. BYU is straight up getting screwed. They should 100% be in, win or lose, this weekend against Texas Tech. And then just the other inconsistencies with how they're ranking Notre Dame, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt, which really Texas and Vanderbilt are on the outskirts looking in. But how can you rank for one justification and not apply it to the other in other situations? It's just inconsistency throughout. And I mean, I know it was the 4 team, but Florida State got penalized when they lost their quarterback. So, I mean, is Ole Miss going to get penalized for losing Lane? They didn't in these rankings. So it's just, to me, the College Football Playoff Committee just sucks. And I think there's way better ways to do this. And I'm going to be voicing those ideas this off season. But I've already been thinking about different ways to improve it. But I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you have any disagreements with me
No.
where we could
I mean,
have some banter? Or
the only thing that we disagree on is the group of five. I couldn't agree more that the playoff committee sucks. I mean, there is no way to justify Notre Dame over Miami. There's just not. They have the same record. Miami has the head-to-head. I think they have a better resume outside of the head-to-head. Like even if you nullify their win over Notre Dame, if you take Notre Dame's best win, which I don't even know what you would qualify as their best win, and
Southern Cal.
Okay, so Miami has the best win, but if you removed both of their best wins, the rest of Miami's resume is better than the rest of Notre Dame's resume. There is no reason for Notre Dame to be above Miami other than the fact that the committee just wants them in the playoff because it's better for the playoff. And in terms of BYU getting bumped out with or without the G5 auto bids, if they lose the Big 12, we were told last year that we had no chance of getting in prior to the ACC championship because SMU wasn't going to be penalized for losing to Clemson. So it's like last year they didn't penalize teams for losing their conference championships, but this year apparently they can. I think the cleanest way to do all of this is go back to the BCS rankings, have the conference championships still count towards yes, if you lose your conference, that could potentially drop you. But if you win your conference, that could potentially move you up. And at the end of championship weekend, the BCS rankings, they rank the top 12, and you take those top 12 teams and you seed that. No auto bids. Like if the group of five isn't in the top 12 of the BCS rankings, sorry. But if coaches are like, oh, well, then I don't want to play in my conference championship because I don't want the extra data point and I could lose and that could drop out. Then, all right, then throw a game and don't go to the conference. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just, if we leave it up to whoever's picking it right now, they will continue to get it wrong. But I in addition to this not being the way the top 12 should be, like I take issue with it. The fact that, North Texas and James Madison, the fact that Tulane, North Texas, or James Madison are going to get in over BYU and Miami, I just find to be categorically wrong. Like, Miami and BYU both have much better resumes than any of those three teams. And the fact that they're about to get bumped out, I think is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. And by that same token, I think it's ridiculous.
What about Virginia? If Virginia wins the ACC, they're at 17 right now. They're going to bump them out.
I would take less issue with that. But
why?
Because I think that they've beat more Power 4 teams and it's a better resume. But yeah, I mean, if you win your conference and you're not in the top 12, I still don't think I don't think there should be auto bids. But yeah, I mean, the committee's terrible. It doesn't make sense. But
I think there needs to be auto bids because that is winning your conference is something that plays out on the field. That is something. It doesn't. I realize that there's.
Why should that warrant an auto bid? If you win your conference, you should hypothetically be playing a ranked team. And if we're going off of the BCS computer rankings, beating a ranked team would move you up in the rankings. So you would benefit from that. It would improve your seed. Let's take Virginia, for example. Virginia's 17. Maybe it's a year where the ACC doesn't suck and they're playing a ranked team in the ACC championship, and beating that ranked team when all the other teams that aren't in their conference championship games are off is enough to leap them into the top 12. And then that's how they qualify. I would be fine with that. But I'm always going to push back against an auto bid. I don't think it's right.
But the thing is,
and I don't care if that waters down the value of conference championships, because at the end of the day, conference championships are less important. We're not playing for just the conference championship. Everyone wants to win the national championship. And if there's a system where winning your conference helps you win the national championship, I think that's still the case. In any case that we choose, if you win your conference, that will give you a better chance of winning the national championship. If losing your conference hurts your ability to win the national championship, I'm sorry, but the fact that we are letting 12 teams in as opposed to 4 or 2 is already giving more teams an opportunity to win it all. So at a certain point, I think we just have to draw a line. And I'm fine with drawing the line at the top 12 of the BCS after conference championship weekend.
Yeah, I just think you need to have, for a true playoff, you need to have participation from all the Power Four conferences and Group of Five.
How many Group of Five schools got to go to the national championship when it was the BCS? None. Why do we need to make that different?
It was only 2 teams then.
Okay, so who?
That's what I'm saying.
But how come when it was 2 teams, no one was like, the Group of 5 will never be in the top 2 of the BCS. This isn't fair.
They were. They did say that.
Well, fuck them. Who cares?
That's why they did the 12 team and made the automatic qualifier for the Group of 5. That's not why they did it.
That's not why they did it. No, it isn't.
Yes.
No, it isn't.
It absolutely is. The playoff was expanded with the intention of including a Group of 5.
The playoff was expanded so they could have more games. They begrudgingly let the Group of 5 to the table.
It's yes, we get it. It's all about money. The expansion is all about money. But I guess my thing is, so far the last 2 years, everyone is just bitching and bitching and bitching. Like Texas fans are trying to bitch about getting left out of the playoff. Like all this system does is create bitching and moaning, and the coaches are doing it, the fan bases are doing it, and I would like to see, like I said, having conference champions make it. No one can bemoan that. You won your conference on the field. You deserve a seat at the table. It's not just some like, oh,
what do you mean?
I think this team is good.
I can bemoan North Texas or Tulane making it in, just even though they won their conference. Like, why can't I complain about that?
It's one on the field is all I'm saying. You can bemoan Group of 5, but they have one fucking spot. They have one spot out of 12.
That's one too many. If they're not in the top 12, why should they get one of the 12 spots?
Bro, fuck. We should just go back to 2 teams.
I like the number 12.
I think we should go back to 2 teams.
All right,
let's go back to 2 teams.
Let's hit the DB Blitz.
That's an argument. I mean, we'll keep arguing on that.
I'm dug in. I'm not changing my stance.
All right, what we got? Pull my picks up. All right, DB Blitz. I got a nice slate here for. I got on the Thomas train and did threw a total in there. UGA Alabama under. I think both of these teams are banged up. I think honestly both are going to play pretty conservative. With Georgia, the position Georgia's in, I think they're in the playoff, win or lose. Bama maybe has more to lose in this game, so take that how you will. But I just think both of these teams want to get out of this game healthy. The committee kind of bumped Alabama above Notre Dame, so again, that's another thing that made no sense. They bumped Alabama up for scraping by against Auburn. Like, I get it's the Iron Bowl, it's a rivalry game, but like, no reason. Whatever Alabama did on Saturday shouldn't have had them jump a team that you thought was better than them last week. Like, again, just stupidity from the committee. But I just think both these teams want to get out of this game healthy, shorten the game, and I'm going to take the under. Both defenses again will be playing at an advantage because I think both offensive lines are banged up. So I don't know that we'll see a ton of fireworks. Ryan Williams, the big play guy for Bama, he wasn't really even involved in the Auburn game. Jeremy Bernard is banged up, so I just think this is going to be a defensive battle. Georgia just had another defensive battle, 16-9 with Georgia Tech, and you would have thought with Georgia Tech's defense being Swiss cheese and Haynes King on the other side, I would have thought that would have been a little bit more high scoring. So I see this one going low, so we're going to take the under. BYU, I'm going to take them plus 13. Again, they have been put in a situation I don't think they should be in, but whether they win or lose this game, they have to keep it close. They cannot get blown out like they did in the regular season. And that game, I think BYU made some mistakes, and it wasn't necessarily as bad as the score might have indicated. I think it was a 3-touchdown loss, but I love Bear Brockmeyer, freshman quarterback. He can run it. LJ Martin, their running back, is a stud. He's an NFL guy, so I think BYU, they try and play ball control and try and make this a low scoring game and hopefully keep it within 2 scores. Because again, if they don't get a win, they need to look very competitive in this game in order to get in the playoff. I don't believe that should be the case, but based on the committee, it is the case. So they need to keep this one close. North Texas. Honestly, I know their coach is leaving. Tulane's coach is also leaving, so this is a interesting game from that perspective. Both coaches are gonna coach in this game. North Texas, their quarterback, he's been explosive, and I'm just gonna ride with North Texas in this game. I haven't watched much of North Texas. I did watch Tulane against Ole Miss. They got bullied in that game. Again, Ole Miss is a good team, but I just think North Texas is going to win this game and represent the American in the playoff. Indiana plus 4.5. I actually sprinkled the money line on this. I just think Indiana wants this game more than Ohio State. I don't know that Ohio State really cares to win this game. It would mean a lot to the Indiana program to win the Big Ten. I think Ohio State, I'm not saying they don't care about this game, but they want to focus on, I know they want to focus on the national championship. And honestly, with Brian Hartline leaving, I don't know what that's going to do. I know Ryan Day can call plays, and he's an offensive guy, but I just like Indiana with the points. I mean, Cignetti, this game last year was hyped, and Indiana kind of got blown out, but Caleb Downs punt return. There were some things that happened in that game that just really didn't go Indiana's way. And Mendoza is a stud. I mean, I don't really get the Julian saying Heisman hype. I think he's just the quarterback on the best team, which is why he's in it. But I think Mendoza is a legit difference maker and a transfer that came in to that program and is elevating it. So I'm going to ride with the Hoosiers this weekend in that game. And then finally in the ACC championship, I'm going to take UVA just because you got a 7-5 Duke team across from you for whatever crazy tiebreakers the ACC had. Miami is not in the ACC championship, which is hysterical. And the ACC might have played their way out of the playoff if Virginia can't pull off the win, but I think they will. I think they've been a consistent team this year. Duke's been really up and down. Obviously, having 5 losses and 3 of which were to out of conference foes, and just some head scratching stuff from Duke this year. They've been really inconsistent. They got a great quarterback, but I think Virginia is the better team in this matchup, and they got everything to play for. I mean, Duke's going to win. You know, if they win the ACC, they'll hoorah and hooray, but then they ain't going to the playoff. They're going to go to the damn Gator Bowl. So I think Virginia's got everything to play for, and they're gonna be the ones to take this game in the ACC championship.
Yep, I'm on Indiana as well. I kind of echo your sentiment that it probably means more to them to win the Big Ten than it does to Ohio State. I just think Cignetti's a beast as well. I also took BYU. That's not a good sign for either of those picks. I think it's hard to beat a team twice, and I just think that's too many points for a team that is good and desperately needs to keep it competitive for their postseason hopes. I'm on North Texas as well. They have a great offense, and I've just seen them score on everybody all year, so took them. I took Duke just because I think it would be funny if they won and the ACC was left out of the playoff. I don't have any reason to believe that they will cover because, like you said, they've been up and down. They've been, they hung 50 on Clemson and I think lost to Connecticut the following week. So there's really no telling what will show up. But if I had to pick a side in that game, I just wanted to pick the side that the outcome would be humorous to me. And then I took Georgia -2.5. I think the SEC championship means more to Kirby. And I think it's hard to beat a team twice. So, and I think it would hurt Georgia a lot more than Bama to lose. I think Bama would get in the playoffs still, even if they lost that game. And so that they're 9, they might get in at 10 or less. Like it would change their first round matchup a little bit. Whereas Georgia, if they win, they're looking at a bye. And if they lose, they're going to have to play probably one of the harder first round matchups. So I think Georgia finds a way to win.
Yeah. That game will be interesting. If Bama loses, we'll see what happens with them in the playoff. But that's going to be our DB Blitz. Please practice responsible units and tail with caution on the 3 picks that were on the same side. Hoping to break that trend. We can get some winners when we're on the same side and enjoy those wins together. But we're going to wrap with the Courtcox Chatter presented by Cajun Cousins. Code name giveaway is Slushy Mike. DM Slushy Mike to our Twitter or Instagram or TikTok DM to enter into the giveaway. You do need to also provide a screenshot that you are subscribed to us on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But Slushy Mike is the giveaway code name. Man, that game against Virginia Tech was tough to watch. Our pick and roll defense was bad. We got out rebounded 1,000,000-1, in the first half. We actually did a good job adjusting in the second half, and we're hitting the glass better. We were battling from behind the whole game, and every time we got it to one possession, Virginia Tech would get a score. Finally, we broke through, and it looked like we were going to steal a win. And then just bad mental mistake by Michi at the end of the game to not even get a shot. Not guaranteed that he's going to make it, but we didn't even get an attempt at the rim with a tie game in regulation. They ended up beating us in overtime. I don't really know what to think about this team, man. I don't have a lot of faith. I thought it was at least going to be fun to watch this team this year, and I just don't know where this team can get better. I mean, we have some size and we still can't rebound. I just don't. We get killed on the glass, and we do a good job of turning people over, and we kind of live and die by the three. That was another thing in the Virginia Tech game. We shot probably 20% from three. And so if we can get into SEC play and make 35-40% of our threes, we might be able to knock some teams off. But just pretty frustrating performance, and that was one at home that we probably should have won. And now you look at our schedule, we still have Clemson coming up in a couple weeks. I'm probably going to go to that game. It's up here. And, we have some, I think, Stetson on Saturday. And
what's the date on the Clemson game?
The 16th.
I think I'll be in Montana.
Yeah. So that's our next. Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, we got Stetson in the Citadel, and then we play at Clemson. Then we have SC State and Albany. So, I mean, that should be 4 wins, and then we sandwich in between Clemson. If we can get a dub at Clemson, go into conference play at 10-3, who knows what could happen. But just the SEC is strong in basketball. Not as strong as last year, I will say, but it's going to be tough. I don't know. This team it was a frustrating game against Virginia Tech. I really would have liked to have gotten that game. It could be a long season, but I'm not giving up hope yet. Still, like I said, there's four games we should win on our schedule, and then the Clemson game, we need to get one on the road against them, and then see what we can do in conference play. Maybe we can heat up. Obviously, shoot the 3 ball better and knock some teams off.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for us to figure it out. I'll be honest with the listeners. There's a pretty steep drop off in my passion for all other Gamecock athletics and football. So I had a great time when we made that run to the Final Four with Frank, and I obviously want us to be good, but I'm not going to get real dialed into basketball until football season ends. Even though we don't have any more games this season, I kind of just don't really start watching that much, and I pretty much the only non-conference game I watch is the Clemson game, and then conference play when it's in front of me. But I want us to be good. We need to, I think, like you said, we just need to shoot. We can't, if if our offense revolves around us shooting, we can't shoot 20%. So hopefully we shoot better. Hopefully the rebounding gets better. I still like Lamont. I mean, so we'll just see what happens. I mean, got to get hot. Got to definitely need to win the rest of our non-conference games.
100%.
If we want to make the tournament. So.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That was Court Cox Chatter, presented by Cajun Cousins. That's going to tie a bow on this episode. We'll be back on Sunday. Give us some questions. What do you want to talk about? What do you want us to talk about? Anything that's on your mind as a fan about the off season? Any topics we should be discussing as we get into basketball season and football season kind of goes to the wayside. Not quite there yet, but obviously Gamecock football is wrapped up. So appreciate everyone listening. As always, like, subscribe, comment. We had a lot of Clemson trolls on our most recent clips and videos. So Gamecock fans, get in there and mix it up So appreciate everyone listening. As always, go Cox.
Go Cox.